In the castle of a wealthy family, a seance is held to contact the spirit of a woman who had been murdered. Instead, the spirit of Lucrezia, an ancestor of the family, is recalled during the seance. Lucrezia tried to take possession of the soul of Sister Sophia, who has lived in the castle to take care of the paralytic Adolfo, owner of the castle, together with his brother Andrea, the husband of the murdered woman. Not succeeding, she takes possession instead of the body of the adolescent Bimba, daughter of Andrea and the murdered woman, who until then had spent a very withdrawn and reserved life. In the following days, the behavior of Bimba radically changes due to the evil influence of Lucrezia's soul, and several times she falls prey of the perverse urges of Lucrezia, while unconsciously shed light on the romance and perverse vices of her family members. The family members, worried, entrust the girl to the care of Sister Sophia. The relationship between Bimba and Sister Sophia grows more confidential, and between them a loving friendship is born. But in reality, Bimba, subjugated by the soul of Lucrezia, lovely tempts the nun into a downward spiral of unspeakable debauchery. In a retrospective review, Jason Buchanan described the film as a Euro sleaze classic of the highest caliber. Danny Sipka, author of book on European exploitation films, described the film as both fun and shocking, noting that the film mixes both soft and hard insert. Sipka concluded the film to have several laughable spots and was best viewed with a group of both discriminating friends. The initial version submitted to the Italian Board of Censors had a running time of 84 minutes, while a longer version of the film was actually distributed with explicit insert. Franco Villa denied having shot hard footage for the film, stating the footage shown theatrically was not his footage. Cutty noted that there are no stand-in for the scenes where Laennec performed love act to the Uncle Adolfo character. Malabimba the Malicious was distributed theatrically in Italy on 22 September 1979 by Stefano Film. Roberto Curti stated that the producer of Malabimba would basically remake the film as another horror title, La Bimba di Satana, which was released 1983. The script for Malabimba, written by Piero Rignoli, whose screenplay of the 1970s opened surrounded by eroticism. It was shot at Castle Piccolomini in Barcelona. Mariangela Giordano recalled that the film was shot in March 1979 for 12 days, working day and night through the weekend. She stated she had gotten ill on set, but as the producer and her current romantic partner, Gabriel Crescenti, had not taken insurance policy on the production, she did not go to the hospital until the film was finished. On reflecting on her work with the producer in Malabimba, Giallo e Venezia, and Patrick Still Lives, she commented that she shouldn't have done them. But I was in love with Gabriel. I would have done anything for him. Briziosco stated the films such as Malabimba that were part of the wave of film inspired by The Exorcist were also influenced by the Italian Gothic film by having romantically active women as being deadly and dangerous people. Italian film historian Roberto Curti noted the film emphasis on eroticism, stating that by 1979 Gothic films were hybridized with erotic themes that generally took over the narrative. In the castle of a wealthy family, the spirit of Lucrezia, an ancestor of the family, is recalled during a seance. The spirit of Lucrezia tries in the same night to take possession of the soul of Sister Sophia, who has been living in the castle for some time, to take care of the paralytic Adolfo, owner of the castle, together with his brother Andrea and husband of Nice. Not succeeding, she therefore takes possession of the soul of the adolescent Bimba, daughter of Andrea, who until then had spent a very withdrawn and reserved life. In the following days, Bimba's behavior changes radically due to the evil influence of Lucrezia's soul, and several times she unconsciously highlights the romance and perverse vices of the member of her family, especially her grandmother and of Aunt Nice, and underline the lustful and depraved life that is led inside the castle. Not only does the girl indulge is unbridled self-erotic practices, but she too come to cause the death of a sick uncle from a heart attack. The family member, worried, entrusts the girl to the care of Sister Sophia. Little by little, the relationship between Bimba and Sister Sophia become more and more confidential. Affectionate friendship is born between the two. But in reality, Bimba, subjugated by Lucrezia's soul, tried to romantically lure the poor nun, who despite rebelling cannot resist. Eventually, Bimba and Sister Sophia have a relationship, and Lucrezia manages to take possession of the nun's body. At this point, the child is safe, but Sister Sophia, shocked at having succumbed to temptation, decides to commit suicide. This isn't necessarily a high compliment, but this might be the best of the many Italian rip-off of The Exorcist. It's definitely better than bigger budgeted nonsense like Beyond the Door and The Tempter. It may be kind of a toss-up between this film, where Mariangela Giordana plays a middle-aged nun engaging in hot intergenerational female love with her demon possessed in a charge, and The Exorcist, where even Rasimo play a demon statue come to life, who pull himself off a crucifix and nails, in a quite a different sense, a female artist. I guess what it come to though is that I'd rather see Giordano than Rasimo. This movie does much more faithfully follow the plot of The Exorcist. The possessed girl Bimba lives in an old castle with sundry relatives and a nun guardian. She is somewhat older than Raven in The Exorcist. The character is supposedly 16, but the actress looked to be a few years older than that. This is no doubt a good thing, as she spent the movie graphically spying on her sleazy aunt, having love with her uncle and her widowed father, dispatching unfortunate elderly relative with a fatal bout of fevers, or having the aforementioned female love with Giordano. This movie works for two reasons. The first is the director Andrea Bianchi, who, though far less prolific, was a lot like Spanish author Jesus Franco in his ability to take irredeemably sleazy material like this and make it somehow oddly watchable. Bianchi's work include What the People Saw, which offered the unusual pairing of Swedish kitten Britt Ekland and the kid from Oliver, Scuzzy Jallo favorite strip nude Pollo Killer, were the usually classy Edwidge Fennec. And his follow-up to this film, Burial Ground, again with Giordano, who this time get her beaten up by a strange-looking dwarf who is supposed to be her zombified son. Which bring me to the second reason, the infamous Mariangela Giordano. Although she is sometimes labeled a scream queen, this label doesn't really fit Giordano, as she was an actress for 25 years in Italian genre films before she ever started doing love scene in sleazy horror movie like this in her early 40s. She proved so good at it though that even years later, When she appeared in Michael Sophie's The Sect, she has a love scene. But beside having a virtually unaging body, she was a pretty decent actress. It is a testament to her thespian ability that this Sultana of Sleaze is even remotely believable as a nun. The only serious downside to this movie is the inclusion in most available version of unappetizing insert. In this case, though they may at least have involved the original talent, Bianchi often did hard work. The actress playing the aunt certainly looked like a star, and even Lanek at one point shared the screen with a visibly aroused male. Still, these scenes could easily be lost. It is a sufficiently sleazy and enjoyable movie without them. Malabimba is not just a sleazy film, the film has more depth than people give it credit for. It is one of the more notorious exorcist ripoff. This is of course a matter of taste. The Antichrist, cinematographically speaking, is the more traditional of the lot, and therefore the easiest to please the majority, but being an Italian film, even if tame for Italian standard, it crosses boundary that Hollywood would never dare to trespass. It's a film that, in spite of being exploitative, follow the Exorcist recipe more closely and with more seriousness. An Arlon Nelle Tenebre release in English under many different titles. The film is a hopeless mess. It's very uneven. Sometimes it's visually stylish and atmospheric, but the film seems like a collage of different scenes, losing some steam in consequence. It was directed by two directors, Angelo Panaccio and Franco Locascio. Back to Malabimba, a lonely mansion on the top of a hill. There lived the Carolis. The Caroli family was once wealthy and aristocratic, but now they are almost bankrupt. Tragedy, resentment, intrigue, decadence. In this place, Bimba, a shy teenage girl, lives a secluded life. One day, a harsh wind blows into the house. It's the devil, a hoarse whispering wind. It attacks everybody in the household, but it takes possession of the innocent Bimba. Bimbo's love, till then dormant, explodes. Hunger, anger, frustration, she wants satisfaction at any price. But the grown-ups are too busy with their own problem to realize what's really happening with Bimba. She is passing through hell, and the devil in her will convolutes the whole house. Malabimba is audio-visually unengaging film. The handheld camera explore corridors, enter room, follow the character, as well as the horse wind that prowl around. The garden are seen from the upstairs window and the distant mountain. There are many love scenes. Some hard inserts are present, but not many, and they don't spoil the overall effect. The images are punctuated by a good and effective soundtrack. Immerse yourself into the film and you will have an enjoyable audio-visual trip. Seemingly as a result of scenes that goes wrong, Daniela is possessed by the evil spirit of Countess Lucrezia and become love-crazed, and her mother Nice also become love-crazed as Daniela watches. Daniela grabs man's body, flashes her during a party, gives her grandfather love and thereby kill him. Seduces sister Sophia, who then commits suicide by leaping off the battlement. Malabimba is a crazy Italian horror that has to be seen to be believed. Apparently, producer Gabriel Crescenti didn't thought the film was sleazy enough, so he edited together an alternative version which included about 5 minutes of hard footage. Some of the horror scenes, such as the seance at the beginning, are wonderfully over the top and stupid. So if you like Andrea Bianchi's sleazy giallo strip nude for your killer, or his extremely entertaining zombie film Burial Ground, give this list classic. Star of the film is the rather lovely Kate Lenek, who plays 16-year-old Bimba Karoli, whose overprotective father Andrea keeps her away from the rest of the world in the family castle, which is also home to several other relatives. During a seance intended to allow Andrea to contact his dead wife Daniela, Bimba becomes possessed by the spirit of evil ancestor Lucrezia and is transformed into a love deviant. Apprentice nun Sister Sophia realizes the truth. But can she save Bimba without falling victim to Lucrezia's seductive power herself? Lots of shots of luscious Lanak in the altogether indulging in all manner of perversion. Giordano whipping off her wimple and habit to get saucy, and busty blonde Patrizia Webley making a couple of the men in the castle very happy chappies indeed. Despite the rather mediocre plot, Bianchi's film has more than enough quality sleaze to ensure a good time, with the added explicit footage only making matters even more seedy. In the film's predictable finale, Sophia sacrifices herself by becoming the vessel for Lucrezia's corruptive spirit and promptly dives head first off the castle's rampart before she is able to succumb to sin. What a waste of a nun! Interestingly, a virtual remake of Malabimba entitled La Bimba di Satana was directed the following year by Mario Bianchi. The uncut version of that film also features several equally explicit scenes, but the torturously slow pacing and shoddy direction made it a far less entertaining affair than its predecessor.